Think back to your first time playing Minecraft in Creative. What was the first thing you built? I'm guessing for most of you it was a terrible looking diamond house. This made me think, what if I made a diamond house in hardcore without using any cheats? So yeah, let's get started. First things first, we have to come up with the size of the house. I don't want it to be too big and I don't want it to be too small. I eventually made a moderately sized house in my test world and figured out that I would need 27 stacks of diamonds to build it. Okay, now that we have the size of the house and the number of stacks that it takes to build it, we now need a method of getting said diamonds. Sure, I could use the tried and true way of just strip mining, but I don't want this video to be a year in the making. So another way, and the method I eventually used, was a machine called a TNT duper. I'm not 100% sure on how it works, but I think when you move a block of TNT through coral, at the same time you ignite it, then it dupes for some reason. I used this really simple tutorial by Voltrox. This machine uses 3 ancient debris. Off to the nether we go. I did use a website called Chunkbase to find a ruined nether portal since I don't already have one, which some people may call cheating, but I consider it a tool since I can find a ruined portal by myself, but I don't want to waste time looking for one. The closest one I found was underwater, underground, which is weird, I know, but whatever, it works. After setting up the portal, I went through and spawned in a basalt deltas biome, which if you didn't know is the worst biome to spawn in because of the lava, and the worst biome to mine ancient debris in, but I didn't know this so I stripped mined and found 3 pieces. Then I started on a bare bones slime farm. Every Minecraft world is divided into chunks, which are 16 by 16 blocked areas, and a lot of these slimes can spawn in, which they are called slime chunks. But slimes are more eager to spawn in these if you mine out a chunk to Y level 40. Off to mine a chunk I go. After mining it all out, I use torches in the caves, so there's a higher chance of slime spawning. And since slimes are mobs, they are affected by the mob cap, which is the max limit of mobs Minecraft can spawn in a world. If the mob cap is filled up by zombies and skeletons, slimes just won't spawn. A few in-game days later and a couple slimes spawn.
I harvest the remains
and waited for more to spawn. And wait, I did. I tried AFKing in the slime chunk and that did not work. I eventually gave up on the slime chunk and remembered a little thing called a swamp, where slimes naturally spawn regardless of the Y level. One chunk-based search later and I took my horse and went to the closest swamp near me, which was like 1,000 blocks away. But I've traveled farther before so it wasn't that bad. Once I got there, I waited till nighttime because slime spawn more at night. Yeah, apparently slime does not like to spawn in normal Minecraft worlds, and this is bad because I need 6 slime blocks. Slimes only drop 0 to 2 slime balls, and for 6 slime blocks, I would need 54 slime balls. After bad chances at the swamp, I decided to go back to my base and AFK more in my slime chunk. Well, there is another option I thought. I could just use honey blocks. What would be the difference? I naively thought. So I started working on a bee farm. First I went looking for a bee nest, then I bred them and made a beehive. After that I used my silk touch pickaxe to acquire them. If you didn't know, bees that are in the hive or nest stay in there if you mine their home with silk touch. From there I took them both back to my base and took their sweet honey. You need 4 bottles per honey block, so I need in total 24 bottles of honey. While I was waiting, I eviscerated what was left of the village I claimed. Don't ask what happened. I also used the zombie spawner to repair my tools while waiting. I made another beehive to breed more bees so I can get honey faster. I've been waiting a while, so I continued working on my massive stone brick walls. Found another bee nest and brought it back to my base. After that, I decided to mine down to Y level -49. While mining, I accidentally fell into a cave and would have died to fall damage, so I'm sorry to say I did save scum. Which means I saved and quit and reloaded the world, which makes Minecraft negate any fall damage before I saved. Since I got 3 honey blocks and 2 slime blocks, which I thought was fine, since none of the sticky blocks touch one another because slime blocks and honey blocks don't stick to each other. I decided to get another item I needed, which was any dead coral, and coral only spawns in warm oceans. And after using chunk base to see that the closest warm ocean was roughly 5,000 blocks away, I set forth on my expedition and couldn't take my horse since the most optimal path was mainly water. After getting some coral, I had to travel roughly 5,000 blocks back to my base. When I came back, I got all the materials and went down into the cave to start building the TNT duper. But when I built it and checked every part of it, which was correct, it didn't work. So I went into a creative test world, and my fear was correct. The honey blocks don't work with the slime blocks. Not only that, but I can't make the machine with honey blocks and no slime blocks because that won't work either. Back to the swamp I go. And yes, the horse is coming with me this time. I waited once again for it to be night and had no dice. Eventually, I looked at the moon cycles. For some reason, slime spawn more on full moons than any other moon. I then had an idea to make a potion of oozing since it makes slime spawn a whole lot more, so I went back to my base to make it. But apparently, you need nether wart, and I'm not going to a nether fortress for a couple more slime blocks. Back to the swamp I go. At this point, I don't even need to look at the coordinates. The location is just ingrained in my head. I stayed at the swamp for a few more days and even built a lookout tower for slimes. My armor was getting low durability, and since I don't have mending on it yet, I need to get the rest of the slime immediately. Because even though slimes don't like to spawn, that doesn't mean other monsters don't like to, including a fairly new skeleton called the Bard, which shoots poisoned arrows. Finally, getting all the slime I needed, I went back to my base to build the machine correctly this time. The satisfaction I got when I hit that note block and it worked was immense. Alright, enough fooling around. Let's destroy the environment, shall we? In my last video, I said that mining didn't make for great content, and mining for diamonds requires mining. I didn't use a texture pack that makes diamonds more visible because I don't have a hard time seeing them. I did accidentally press the note block twice, which blew up the dead coral. Apparently, these machines are very delicate, because if you make one mistake, you have to rebuild the entire thing, or it just won't work. At one point, I blew up all of the dead coral I had, so back to the warm ocean I go. And I'm bringing my horse this time. Once I got there, I collected a lifetime supply of coral. On my way back, I got distracted by a shipwreck and went searching for buried treasure. A tip I learned is place your player of the X and press F3. Move your player until these numbers are 9. Buried treasure always spawns at this spot. Just dig straight down. It got too hard to move my horse across multiple oceans, and it would take too long to go only across land. So I left the horse in a random ocean and carried on back to my base. Fixed the machine and got back to business. After hours upon hours of mining, I got really bored with it, so I decided to level up a farmer villager so it could trade me golden carrots, which is the best food in the game. And while I was waiting for the baby villager to grow into an adult so I could make it into a farmer, I made an automatic sugarcane farm, because why not? I got the last 4 stacks of diamonds I need to build the house. I feel a great sense of accomplishment. Now I just need to make sure creepers don't blow it up. I put it on top of a hill next to my villagers, string farm and storage, so I can always see it. I placed the flooring, an item frame with a cookie, crafting table, furnace, and bed. Now I just need someone to live there. Everyone say hello to Bessie.